listening to the Paracasual Destiny Podcast Live. Hello and welcome to episode 26 of the Paracasual Destiny Podcast. We are live here in the studio, broadcasting to you on a bright, sunny Saturday morn. I'm Sooltime, and I'm here with Salliebug, Greenstegosorus, and Romancegirl. How's everybody doing this morning?
Good.
Pretty good.
A little chilly.
Ah, chilly in Texas.
Oh yeah, the
No
polar
pun
vortex is pulling right down into Texas. I saw
Oh, yes.
that. How cold is
28
it?
degrees.
Good
Oh
Lord.
my gosh, below freezing.
A little taste of me.
Supposed to be in the
Awful.
single digits this week.
Wow. You actually are going to have your heater on. Turn on the heat.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
been having our heat on, yeah. It's full-blown winter here. It's Europa experience.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's actually been a pretty cold week here in Maine
It's
as
frigid,
well, but that's
yeah.
to be expected in the middle of February in Maine, so much less
It's been extra
expected
cold.
in
Yeah.
Yeah.
less expected in
Some strange weather patterns going on, and we are achy because of it. Snow removal.
Yeah, there's
not used to doing this much in this short of time period. So
yeah, and there's a ton of there's like just snow in the forecast and like 4 of the 7 days next week, so
Ugh.
yeah.
So, boy, I never did post the live stream link, but that's okay. I think everybody will be able to find it. Lots has transpired since our last podcast, episode 25, 2 weeks ago. We are a bi-weekly podcast. We broadcast live Saturday morning, every other Saturday morning. At 11 a.m. You can find us on YouTube. That way.
Eastern time.
That's very important. Eastern U.S. time. And, you can also reach out to us on some other social media sources, such as Twitter, which I think is the only other social media source you can find us on at the moment.
No, we haven't quite gotten into Instagram for it's not really
Instagram. Yeah,
not
we
like
haven't
we
gotten
have
that far.
like visuals to go along with our
Audio.
podcast yet. To go along
So
with audio.
I think we should just dive in and recoup what we've lost, and try to break even on the last two this week at Bungie's as a guide to discuss our impressions of the game, the new season, and all the stuff that comes along with that. And let's see if I can't call up our This Week at Bungie. This Week at Bungie, let's go back to and take a look at the February 4th TWAB. They talk about
the pre-season.
Yes, this was
pre-seasonal
before Season of the Chosen dropped, so they had the trailer. And they also had their calendar that they like to make. And they get right down to, and, this is not surprising. The community feedback based on the previous season being, Beyond Light having a lack of weapons in light of the sunsetting being implemented. The lack of a weapons pool. It seems like they are really making an effort to overcome that. They talk about new weapons. The Swarm, Palindrome, Shadow Price are now in the Nightfall Ordeal lineup. Those are some bringing back some. These are what we would term as reissues. Do these qualify as reissues if they haven't been in D2? Because the Palindrome.
Yeah, these are D1
these
weapons,
are D1
aren't
weapons.
they?
Can we call them
They
reissues?
are.
Not technically, they're not reissues, right?
Well, they are reissued, just reissued from a further time.
Yeah, previous iteration. Have you guys done the Nightfall at all? And tried to get the it's Shadow Price this week, right?
We have not.
No,
I haven't
done
touched the Nightfall yet.
Haven't done the Nightfall yet. None of us here.
Apologies to the viewers. We know that y'all who are at home listening right now, you're disappointed.
Well, if we had Richard on here, we know that those guys do the Nightfall all the time. They live for the Nightfall.
I'm not much of a...
I wouldn't say that, but I think they can get it done.
Well, how do you feel about those 3 weapons? Like, are any 3 of them you're excited for? Or
I'm going to be perfectly honest. I'm not nostalgic for those ones in particular.
Yeah, I don't really remember those. I remember the names. I just don't really remember the weapons.
Yeah, I was feeling the same way.
I had a really good roll on the Palindrome, and I remember enjoying using it. And Shadow Price.
I will say...
I just have fond memories of anything with the word shadow in it, right?
No, I will say that I am a fan of the names, and I'm a fan of them bringing back weapons from Destiny 1, because the weapons of Destiny 1 were great, and I say, why not bring back great weapons?
We say, why not?
Agree.
Absolutely. And then, of course, they introduced to the sort of negative reaction to a lot of people, the
Oh wait, we have Richard O'Neill in the chat saying he has done the 1270 Nightfall 20 times. Still
what
no
did I
Shadow
tell you?
Price.
What did I tell you? He lives for that.
What?
Those guys.
No, he lives for the loot.
He lives for the loot.
But I don't know if he lives for the Nightfall. Is what I was disputing.
I just
Maybe
think they have a knack
clarify.
for the Nightfall. A knack for the Nightfall.
I thought it was an automatic drop. Now I'm a little
They're
bit
able to
shocked
spank
here.
that Nightfall hard.
I think if you do it on the Grandmaster difficulty, it's a guaranteed drop.
Oh,
that
But he
RNG
did
is brutal.
The 1270.
Shout out to our friend Ghost and F's in the chat maybe for that.
Oh my gosh.
RNG.
You know what, Richard? If you get on with
Oh,
Salliebug
and his friend
and me,
got it first try.
Of course,
Jerome
but see, you need
got it first
Richard.
try.
You need to run it with Sooltime and Salliebug, because we're your good luck charm. We'll get you that Shadow Price for no price at all. And Funnybone's in the chat. Good morning, Chili, Texas. He says there's a lot of F's in the chat.
Yeah, that's terrible RNG, and
that is terrible.
You know, they're
RNG.
bringing back the Destiny 1 weapons. I guess we should have been prepared for them to bring back Destiny 1 RNG.
Destiny 1
Destiny
RNG.
1 level RNG.
I'm hearing the
my
Gambit playlist drop is also quite rare.
Oh, that's the bottom dollar, right? That's everybody's talking about that hand cannon. We haven't quite. We're
The
jumping
bottom
around a little
dollar.
bit here. That's the name of the hand cannon that drops from
I'll
Gambit.
bet your bottom dollar that you won't get the bottom dollar.
Moving on.
Moving right along.
Moving on.
Hot Pursuit. And a lot of people had a negative reaction to this Salvager's Salvo, another grenade launcher pursuit weapon, which is not pinnacle weapon. It's called a pursuit weapon. So a lot of people were like, oh no, another mountaintop, right? And I have not gotten this. I did accept the quest for it. I'd like to try it out. I don't know if anybody in chat has used this thing yet. But I did see like a title of a YouTube that said Salvager's Salvo is not Mountaintop 2.0 exclamation point. So I don't know. Yeah, we're casual players. We don't get that stuff. Been chasing the Dredgen Seal again. 35
I've heard
wins.
it's not. Yeah, it's not a mountaintop.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't
But
have
that it is
the
very good.
unique perk of Mountaintop where it's what is it, Micro Machine or something, where it basically
Micro
shoots
missiles,
straight and linear like a
something.
mini rocket. It still acts.
Right.
It behaves like a grenade launcher. But I am very excited to get that one.
Mm-hmm.
It's got
Yeah,
some
you're,
very
you're
cool
a fan
perks.
of the grenade launchers, right?
I love a breech-loaded grenade launcher. I've been using one all Season 12, basically.
All 5 days of it.
Yeah. And I'm excited. I'm excited about this one. I really want that turn on that explosion perk.
I think I could get more excited about it if it had a different shader than in the picture. This thing.
What's wrong with the shader?
I don't know. I just don't care for. I never liked camo. I'm not a camo fan.
Yeah.
It's personal preference. But I'll get that sucker and put on a nice spiffy shader and go to town. That's what I'm gonna do.
I like the iridescent shaders.
And I know they've changed. One of the things they definitely changed how some grenade launchers work, and I have noticed that a little bit when I've used them. But it's definitely not my go-to special weapon.
Greenstego is definitely the resident grenade launcher user.
Absolutely.
Hold on now. What about?
He always has a grenade launcher on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say that.
Okay. Salliebug, I would give them another try after the updates, because they did make it so that you don't have to time your trigger down for these things for it to explode.
I mean, in all honesty, I don't know. Yeah, maybe, because what I found was every time I pulled out a grenade launcher and tried to use it, it would just bounce off the ground and explode up in the air and do nothing. So I just never seemed to quite be able to get the feel for them and how to get them to work. But it sounds like there's an improvement in that area, so that if I shoot it in amongst a bunch of enemies, that there's a potential that
they made it easier.
It's going to actually explode on them.
Sure, they made it easier for people who suck at video games. So
exactly. I suck at video games. I just enjoy playing them.
Yeah, that's
basically
sort of the curse.
The curse
Speaking
of
of curse, how about the curse of Osiris here?
Richard in the chat says it has a chain reaction, so he's going for it. So.
Yeah, that's
chain reaction.
How can you resist chain reaction?
Yeah,
I heard that chain reaction gets a buff from the Dragonfly Spec mod.
Ooh,
Dragonfly Spec mod.
Now I want to end the podcast early and go play Destiny. Because I love chain reaction
stuff. We're at that point in the pod.
All right, so let's finish this up.
We're not even on the second
Richard confirms that the mod works. Richard says the mod works.
You need to get through this TWAB quickly so that we can.
Well, okay. The next thing is the trials stuff, which, not gonna lie, looks really cool. And, part of me wants all this stuff, but it also, for me, represents, the nicer they make this stuff, the more I worry about, the account recovs and cheating going rampant to get it. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's in the back of my head. And plus,
but also maybe some more casual players will be enticed to go for it. I know I might be going for Messenger this weekend.
Yeah.
Even though I haven't touched trials in years.
To get 3 wins is a tall order for me.
You don't have to get 3 wins.
You don't?
You can get it with the bounty.
Yeah, because you can get it with the bounty.
Oh, that's you can just lose every time and still build up enough to get these things?
But that bounty, it's not an automatic drop, or is it an automatic drop? I don't know how that works.
It's 10 games, Richard O'Neill just said.
10 losses.
Okay, 20 trial matches.
It's a guaranteed messenger this week.
By the way, Richard, feel free to hop into the voice chat if you like. We have a space
You're always
open.
Welcome.
You're always welcome to hop into the voice chat.
20 trials matches for 2 bad rolls in the pulse. Is it? But those are those rolls static, Richard, or?
You get 1 random roll.
Okay, and 1. Okay.
It's 10 games. Yeah.
So here's the thing. Since we're on the subject of trials, I'm just going to say, I was feeling really tired yesterday and didn't feel like getting on, so I thought, well, I'll just watch some people play. So just watching some of like my favorite Twitch streamers playing Trials, it's like I just see what the what Trials is looking like, and it was awful. It was awful for like these people that I've actually watched like just be amazing players and do really well, and that it was just I think it's just because one of the Twitch streamers that I watched was Ms. 5000 Watts, and she's great. She's an amazing player, but I think the player pool is just so low that, and this is what she was saying, it's just like everybody I come up against are just out of my league. And to be out of her league, when I considered her, like, she's totally out of my league, so...
Yeah, she regularly goes flawless to the lighthouse.
But she doesn't anymore.
Not anymore.
But not
she
anymore.
Can't. And then I watched Ilulu, and she was struggling. And then, it's kind of bouncing
from a
around.
Psychological perspective, I would say that experience is definitely going to be greatly influenced by expectation. So when I say I'm going to do Trials, I do not expect to have a good time in the Crucible.
Right.
Right.
I do not think it is in a good place. To say that I want the pulse rifle was not defending the state of Trials in any way.
Richard says
Right,
1300 power everywhere.
Right, because it is
Yikes.
power.
Yeah, and that's what I would expect
Yowza.
too. I'd expect going in, getting sniped, going in, getting sniped, going in, getting sniped. I would probably have to put on some music and just not really care. I'm not like, maybe just chat during that time. For me, you really do have to set your expectations as low as possible if you're going to go into an experience like that.
Get into a fire team.
I wish it was better for the higher players, though.
Right, and we have actually in the chat as well from Funnybone, who's actually gotten into our voice chat at times, says, I think it's a lot. I think for a lot of casuals, 10 games of something will yield little to no enjoyment, but a reward at the end is just a hard pill to swallow. Just hard to invest the time into something that's not fun, and that's kind of where I am.
It's
like,
be doing something fun.
Yeah, I would really like the messenger, but do I really want it enough to like dedicate?
Well, that's been my sentiment for, like I said, I haven't played Trials in years. That has been my exact sentiment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
But I think I'm allowed to be excited about one weapon and think that actually the reward is good enough for one weekend of bad games. Like, it's not actually as big a deal.
I think they're
trying to get. You guys are making it out to be.
They're trying to make the player pool larger with these things as well.
Yes, and they Kujay has a good video with a lot of ideas. I'm sure a lot of people have some good ideas on how you can make Trials more rewarding.
Sure. Mercules has.
I am not defending Trials at all.
Mercules has a lot of good ideas.
But I do think that on that. I do think that if you do want the messenger, it seems like a fun weapon, and I don't think 10 games is going to be. I don't think 10 games would kill me, especially because they'll go fast. It's not make or break,
right? It's it's kind of a shame with the state of Trials because they are making a lot. Like, it feels like in the background, with especially if you look at the TWAB and the way they're highlighting all of these beautiful things, and even stuff that's like outside of what I could get. It's like, you have this beautiful armor, and I mean, even again, I'll go back to Ms. 5000 Watts that I was watching because I really like that chest piece, but getting to flawless to open the flawless chest probably is not going to happen for me. And so I feel bad because I feel like they've created this beautiful pool, but they haven't backed it up with improving the state of the game to make it so that these things are accessible for outside of the top one.
Okay, I'm going to say, I'll just outright say it. What I've been trying to say and going around is I think we're beating a dead horse. Trials has been killed. Like, Trials is bad. Everyone knows it's bad. Every time we say that it's bad, it feels like, I just feel bad for, I think it's just it's a low punch at this point. It's an easy punching bag.
I know, but again, it's like I feel bad because they're clearly, there's designers that are putting so much effort into making this beautiful stuff. I really hope that eventually.
I think that the game progression people working on it are working just as hard as the loot people. I don't think it's fair to pit them against each other. It's a complicated matter.
Yeah, it is complicated, but I have high hopes that I mean, clearly they're putting effort into it, so I have high hopes that eventually something will happen to improve that experience.
I always took an interest in Trials from the perspective of not participating in it, but being a veteran player who saw it save the game in D1. I feel like it really put the game on the map, and it gave the studio a huge boost to continue the franchise. And I always thought it was vital for the overall health of the whole game. But I'm starting to rethink that. I think the game is evolving and moving in different directions, and I'm not so sure we need Trials around to do that anymore. And so I'm kind of with Romancegirl on this, that, so
no,
what?
I don't. That is
so
not my
it is what it
opinion
is.
at all. My opinion is that there's someone behind. My opinion is that there's someone behind the scenes working very hard to make it, and that when they presented it, they said, we didn't want to make this half-baked, and I believe them. I think they tried really hard and they failed, and I don't think it's fair to just keep pointing your finger at them and say, you failed. I think they're trying to fix it.
Yeah. But I think, Sooltime, you made a really good point there about how the world of Destiny is constantly evolving and the gameplay of Destiny is constantly evolving. And it's time for Trials to evolve with it. It can't be the same formula. It can't be the same structure that was successful in D1, because that's what they've tried, and it's thus far unsuccessful.
And what I meant to say is, Romancegirl, I agreed with you that it's beating a dead horse at this point.
Yeah.
Talking about it.
And but season 14, after this one, it'll be the 1-year anniversary of the relaunch of Trials of Osiris. So we'll see if they've got something else in store.
Who knows? Yeah, they've surprised us before. Let's move on to the Season of the Chosen additional arsenal. I don't know if anybody's gotten any of these new seasonal weapons yet.
I don't think I've played enough to get. Actually, that's not true.
I have the submachine. You should have the submachine gun.
I got the submachine gun, and I think I got another weapon. Both of them. I think I got the bow, and I haven't actually used it yet. Not the exotic one, but the legendary one. And both of them have that new perk.
Frenzy.
Ah,
yes, Frenzy.
So, and I actually, again, I got the rolls and then stopped playing. Like, it was like at the end of my session, and I haven't gotten back on since. But I'm really excited to use Frenzy, especially like in something like the Battlegrounds. It sounds like
I love Frenzy.
Fun. It sounds
I got the SMG with Frenzy.
It sounds,
Frenzy is
I got
the new
SMG.
stasis.
It sounds like such a fun. It sounds like, and Funnybone, you should shoot for trying to get that bow, because I know you're a bow fan. Try to get that bow with Frenzy.
Yeah. Hey, Frenzy, come on over.
Frenzy. It's funnier the more you say it.
It is.
Frenzy.
It's funny. Frenzy. Yeah. Hey,
Frenzy.
do you want to be
What a funny
Frenzies?
word. I am going to mute myself and go get some more coffee, because I need it.
All right.
Oh, wow.
Well, we'll catch
She's
you an
really
hour
going
from
there.
now. The next thing in that TWAB, going back a couple weeks, is the Cult of Aeon, I believe how you pronounce it. Aeon?
Mm-hmm.
Aeon. from Aeon Flux. So anybody's impressions, anybody read through how they're doing this? I feel like they're trying to do a balance between giving you something individual with it, but also the sort of contributing to your fire team. They have one perk that grants benefits to the user, focuses on the user, and another perk that grants benefits to the allies. I'm excited to try it out, at least, for sure. I've heard some commentating on this that it's weak sauce again, that they're not leaning into it enough. But I don't know. I can't say. I don't know enough to say.
It seems like a fun idea.
Yeah, I'd like to at least give it a shot and see if we've got, they seem to really want to try to do a synergistic thing that benefits the fire team. Like the Rat King comes to mind. And it's hard to do that for some reason. It's harder. Looks good on paper. But,
I was concerned when I read that the perk was like your teammate had to be close to you.
Yeah.
Your teammates had to be close to you because that's hard to coordinate.
It is. Running a strike or running nightfalls, things like that. Or team-based activities. Okay. And then the next thing is the big Catalyst comeback of 2021. Bad Juju,
so
Izanagi's, Sleeper, Huckleberry, the World Line Zero, Polaris Lance, Telesto, Legend of Acreus. That was out of my grasp. And Skyburner's Oath. I have about half of those, I think, already. But man, I just got the Bad Juju one. Salliebug and I were playing the other night. We just both got the Bad Juju one. I think that's dropping readily now. So, thoughts on that, anybody? I can't see a negative opinion about that.
No. Any hesitation that I had for picking up the old exotics because I wasn't able to get the Catalyst just completely washed away. Very excited about this. I just got the Skyburner's Oath Catalyst.
Oh, nice.
I was
Which
going
I'm
to say,
excited
that Skyburner's Oath has got to be, it's a great scout rifle, and it's perfect against the Cabal, so might be a fun weapon to take into
the return of Skyburners.
Into the battleground.
Yeah, I think Cacus predicted that it was going to be big this season, and boy, was he right.
Yeah.
Cacus.
I remember I used it a lot on the Leviathan. So I think I'm going to pull that out and give it a go once I get up enough resources to infuse it up.
Tune in later on tonight as Salliebug 2 gives Skyburner's Oath a whirl.
Do you have the Catalyst, Salliebug?
I think I actually do have the Catalyst. I think I got it from whenever, I don't know when it dropped or why, but I'm pretty sure I do have it. But I may not. I don't know.
I want that Telesto Catalyst. That
I
Richard
do want the
says can be
Telesto
found
Catalyst.
in lost sectors of the legendary and master variety.
Ooh. Yeah, need to get a fire team up and give those a go.
Well, I've already scrolled on to the most recent TWAB that dropped a couple days ago on the 11th of February. So they talk about the Season of the Chosen has launched at this point. And you know what? Before I get into this, did anybody see that? I think it was, what was it? The Destiny Update 3.1.0. That was the largest amount of fixes and tweaks in the game in any single update, I think, including Destiny 1. It was ridiculous.
Oh my gosh, when I was reading the patch notes, oh my gosh, it went on and on and on.
On and on and on. So many things were done to the game. And
Largest yet, but I'd be surprised if it stays that way. The game keeps getting bigger.
Well,
and the team is
I was going to
enormous
say,
now.
I'm sure
Right.
a lot of it was slated for Beyond Light and had to get pushed.
Yeah.
ooh, that's a good
true.
point. I
Right.
didn't think of that. That's absolutely makes sense.
Or just, once Beyond Light came out, they knew there were going to be some bugs because of all the background stuff that they were doing, and they're just kind of like were working on that in the background anyway. So
Uh-huh.
They're doing work though.
They are. They're getting back to it and at it and figuring out how to do the distance, the remote collaboration thing, I'm sure. So Season of the Chosen. Oh boy, what happened here? They are talking about, they show the calendar, of course, but they're talking about Beyond Light owners get new stasis aspects and fragments. I haven't done that yet myself, but I watched a video. I think Fallout talked about it a little bit and tested it out. Some of them look pretty interesting. A new landing zone, quality of life. New landing zone in the northern reaches of Europa. That's a time saver. And new exotic armor pieces have been added, one per class. So that's exciting too. New things to chase.
also, and I don't know, it may actually be further on in the TWAB, but new aspects and fragments, right?
Well, yeah, I just said that.
He did mention
I'm
that.
sorry, I
And
was
before
She was probably
Since
taking
you
a sip
brought it
of
back up.
coffee.
No, I was taking a sip of coffee, but it was also engaging
She was in the chat.
Oh.
So I was wondering,
Multitask.
has anyone tried, which is not something I do very well, has anyone tried getting an aspect or one of the new aspects for their character? Or it's one per class, right? There's 3 more aspects that have come out.
Correct.
I heard you only had to do the quest once.
You
You
do,
only
and
have to do the
it's
quest
good
once.
And it's
across
unlocked
all
on all
3
three.
characters. Right.
Right, and
all
unlocks
characters get
right,
it.
if you're a multiple character, right.
Yeah.
I haven't done the heroic exo challenge.
Yeah,
Needed
that's the
to
last
do it.
step.
It's the second step.
The second and last step.
Second
It's
and
a
last
short
step.
quest.
Okay.
So it's not hard.
I have-
They made it pretty accessible.
And while we're on the
aspect.
subject, we also watched, I think it was Fallout Plays, his video on reviewing the new aspects. And I gotta say, we disagreed with his summation on the new Warlock aspect. He really downplayed it, thought that it wasn't exciting or good, and the one that makes a turret. And I think that he misevaluated it.
I think
He was definitely coming from a
PvP.
PvP perspective.
Yeah, he
Right.
was totally looking at it from PvP. And I was thinking, even in PvP, it's a distraction more than anything. And he didn't really
I was
look at
thinking
it
that
that
too.
way.
He mentioned that at the end, like, oh, I guess they would be shooting, they'd have to choose between you and the turret.
Right,
It's
that's a
like,
big deal.
yeah, they
That's a
would
pretty
have to
big
choose
deal.
between
Yeah.
me and the
Oh,
turret.
no,
And take it
I
down
thought
to
the same
like
thing.
4 shots.
Also, we don't know, because I'm not a warlock, but we don't know how much flinch the turret bullets
Obviously.
Yeah.
do as well.
Being
So
slowed is a
it's
huge
it's a
bummer.
The one
It's
thing
slow, so.
the one thing he did
Yeah.
point out is it's a little buggy.
Right.
Sometimes it doesn't see a guardian, But I
Yeah.
think they'll fix that.
It's
They'll fix that
tracking.
stuff.
Yeah.
was tracking piece, but I can see dropping it
Technical.
in the battlegrounds or in some other mode where you have a lot
Oh,
of
yeah,
enemies
for
that you
sure.
have
The
to deal
battlegrounds
with.
is what it was.
And combine it with
Where
no
it's
time to
gonna
explain,
shine.
so you have double buddies shooting out.
Right.
That'd be great.
We've only done Sooltime. You and I did a matchmaking of battlegrounds through the director, just that once. And man, there's a lot of enemies. That
Oh
was
my
a lot of
God.
Yeah,
battles.
that new system, they're showing off how many enemies they can give us. I am afraid for Vault of Glass. They can
Yeah,
crowd the
no
stream
kidding.
with enemies.
And going back to Skyburner's Oath, I mean, I actually did have an anti-barrier scout rifle, which helped quite a bit for all those phalanxes and the phalanxes shield. But I think Skyburner's Oath probably would have done a lot better job than my trusty. It's like, man,
And the Tikus.
there were so many.
Divination is very good.
Oh my
during the
gosh, I love
battlegrounds.
Tiku's divination. That is so much fun.
Oh yeah, Tikus is so much fun.
Another chain
That's
thing,
good exotic.
and that's
bow.
the thing is that
Yes,
and it's
solid.
taking me out of my comfort zone because it's the hit fire piece. Like do you want to do the hit fire and try to damage several
Multiple,
enemies at
yeah,
once,
multiple
or do you
targets.
want to do that heavy?
Yeah, and it works if you have a fire team. If one is hit firing, I think Cross might have pointed this out. One person can be hit firing and tagging, and the rest of your fire team is shooting down sights
Finishing them off.
with the explosions. And it's like you can work
so
as a fire
nice.
team
Yeah.
to chain
nice.
reaction them.
Yeah.
It's fun. I'm a fan.
Well-
Again, Funnybone, get on that Tikus. I think you would really enjoy it as well.
Yeah, and get on the battlegrounds.
Richard says that getting the catalyst for the bow is a pain. Asacross also said, do not attempt to get the catalyst for the bow until you're level 22 or 23,
22.
something around there. Because then you get like 4x booster or something like that.
Oh, in the artifact, level
Something
22 in the
insane.
artifact, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
don't
not
even-
the
The
artif-
season
The
pass.
season pass.
I'm sorry, yeah, the season pass. Ugh. There's all
Yeah.
these things,
One
right?
of the
A lot
one of the
moving
unlocks is getting a booster for your catalyst progression. So don't worry about the catalyst until you're level 20 whatever.
Oh,
Whenever you
sounds
get
good.
that booster.
Right, because
That's a nice
it's just
tip.
that it's just getting the part that's the pain is getting the damage to the enemies, to other guardians, right? That's the part that's hard.
Right, right.
We actually did that during Mayhem.
Oh, still killing 50 guardians with it. I don't know if it was bugged, but I went into Mayhem with Tiku's divination, and I would just hit fire and tag them and let my enemies kill them with the rest of them with supers, and I got those 50 guardian kills very quickly.
Pro tip right there.
Wow, do it
And
while
I couldn't
Mayhem
tell
is
Do
there.
it while
I couldn't
Mayhem.
tell if I was
Come on,
just-
Richard. You
I didn't
can
know
do
if I
it.
had to get I didn't know. I guess assists count because I know I wasn't getting actual kills with the bow. I was just
Yeah.
tagging them.
Just tag him. What a great idea. Wow. That's the first step. Oh, I guess it's one of them. Okay. Well,
Oh.
if they make
Anyway.
just tag them in tracking and Mayhem. You're out.
Well, I unlocked the catalyst, but I'm not going to go for the actual kills with the bow until I get the
Right.
Right.
But take
progression
advantage of
booster.
Mayhem out there if anybody's listening other than us.
The pro tip
Yeah.
of the Paracasual Destiny podcast.
The hot take.
Which
Okay.
is really just Asacross's hot take. that
Yeah,
we're-
we're regurgitating
No, that was
Aztecross.
me. I have not heard anyone say that.
Yeah.
That was mine.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
true, that was-
Sallybug
actually
2's
was
trying to
yours.
steal Romance Girl's thunder here. Oh my gosh.
I'm not trying to steal the thunder. I was
I
trying
just had
to
the
Either
bow
way.
equipped,
giving
and I
someone
was
else
just doing
credit
it.
for.
I was just doing it for fun.
And you stumbled upon
It works
a-
on Gambit Guardians as well, but that would take a lot longer, Richard O'Neill.
Not for Richard.
Right. Well, if you happen to be an invader and just go in and invade every time and can get all four of them, but man,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would not be able to.
The
do
second
that.
step is
No.
200 playlist.
I was just
activities.
tagging enemies for fun while my Blade Barrage was loading in Mayhem. And then I noticed that I was like, oh my God, I'm over halfway done with this quest step.
I'm going to do that today.
right? Why not? Just go
That
in.
and 20
just
other
go
things.
In because
Sheesh.
right. That's so
Oh,
much
there's
to
so
do.
much to do.
There's so much to do, and we're going to talk more about
God.
Battlegrounds in a minute. But I just wanted to kind of look at the other thing in the latest TWAB was they've added more weapons to the Strike Crucible Gambit completion drop pool. There we go. I got it out. Word on the street is that bottom dollar's part of that. So I don't know what the other weapons are. I haven't seen that, but it just I feel like they really made an effort to fatten up that weapons pool to counterbalance the sunsetting that's going on. We had another round of our second round of sunsetting took place, which I like from the perspective of cleaning out my vault. Not gonna lie, and we'll see how it goes. I did need. I was telling Salliebug I needed an arc auto rifle. You know how you want to kill 2 bounties at once? You got to get arc kills, and you have to get auto rifle kills, and maybe you have to get some other auto rifle thing, like rapid kills or something. So, 3 birds with 1 stone, and I did not I deleted my sunsetted arc Uriel's
What
whatever.
about hard light?
Yeah.
Okay.
You couldn't be bothered.
Can't be bothered.
No, I think I would have had to go in my collections. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, the collections are the worst.
But why weren't you there when I needed you to tell me about hard light? Okay. Yeah, I just have to come on to the
But
podcast.
no, I agree with you. There's like the sunsetting it's getting tight. The
Huge
vault.
bummer.
It is,
But
but
my vault is huge, though.
I think it's going to get better. I feel like it's going to get better once we get
Yeah,
once
it's
they figure out the rhythm
Growing
of it.
pains, I'm hoping.
Yeah, because
Right, I'm confident of that. Honestly,
I hope they can make some adjustments too along the way.
and they will. They will. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it for the
Shadow Price is Arc. Well, no one has Shadow Price yet.
Well, I'm gonna have to
But
grind
good point
for that.
They are filling in that void.
Yeah.
no,
with
it's not
Arc.
void, it's arc.
Yeah, I know.
Nice one. Get your Black Lives Matter pin. They look pretty cool. Patch note stragglers. Okay, so this is just. I did want to mention this. They're trying to improve the quest experience with the detail quest thing. Have you guys seen that? Noticed it in game?
Yes, I love that.
So good.
I'm a fan
So
of that.
very good.
I will say it's a big step in the right direction for guiding us to what you need to do and what you've done, all that stuff. I think that's definitely they're trying to get better at something that the game has been lacking since D1. I think just what do I do next, and then the rest is patch notes here. Let's talk about our experience playing the new content, the new season of The Chosen. And we already talked about Battlegrounds a little bit here, right?
Battlegrounds is an amazing activity, but I gotta say, probably my favorite addition, even more so than the loot, is the weekly challenges.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun with weekly challenges.
It's nice to just have when you log in and just we
A
deal
to-do
with
list.
this Destiny ADHD where you log in and there's so much to do, but you just don't know where to start. And that really narrows it down for you and incentivizes just picking one of these handful of things.
Like we
and
saw
just
one of the
doing it.
things was get kills in Mayhem with your super. And we were like, well, that's probably a rotating activity, so that's something we should do.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is how she was like, wait, I'm already got halfway through my Tiku's divination quest. What's
And that's
going on
when
here?
that happened. But yeah, and then we were like, okay, so we need to do some things on Europa, and we just kind of hung out on Europa for a while, got another weekly challenge done. It's just been a lot of fun.
This is a really good tip for me because I just wasn't even aware of that weekly, here's your weekly checklist. It's that's that bar on the top of the quest page, right?
Yes.
Yes.
It's it's got a blue border around it, a light blue border.
Right.
And it's also on the seasonal, there's also a link to it on the seasonal pass progression. So if you're turning in, if you rank up on your season pass underneath, you can look at your seasonal challenges.
Your seasonal
Or
challenges.
is it not seasonal challenges? It's weekly challenges.
Your weekly
But I
challenges.
think it's related.
Because it took me having to watch, I don't know, but I think it was Abontis actually who did a guide on how to level up the war table. because it's like I don't even know what I need to do to it, like level this up, and it took watching a guide, which
that's the only way to level it up is those weekly challenges.
is doing the weekly challenges, and that's what I noticed. And it's like, gosh, I just was so out of like not realizing I had this weekly challenges piece that I needed to pay attention to. So it was a little new, but now that I know it's there, I'm thankful for it. And like you said, having a little bit of a guidance to, if you're on this week, here are the things you should focus on. So.
Yeah, because it's, I mean, I sometimes I get on and I don't know what to do. Like, what do I do first? There's like 20 things here that I should be doing, and then trying to also manage other characters as well, to help out with clan XP and whatnot. It seems like I can't even get to that anymore. There's just too many other progressions to follow, quests to do, catalysts to complete. Just
the weekly challenges is account wide, I believe.
Well, that's not
yeah,
true.
I need to start using that, utilizing that, and tuning in more to that. I haven't done that yet. That's cool.
There's different there's different rewards for doing each of them, so you can kind of decide, like if there's just XP granted for one of the challenges, you can be like, well, I don't need to do that right now. But if it's like the top 2 ones they give you level ups for your war table, so you can prioritize that. And I think it's just going into battlegrounds.
Yep.
So it's and using rocket launchers
on Cabal
is one of them.
Yeah, I gotta say, the Battlegrounds, it seems like a great place to efficiently knock out a bunch of bounties so that you can progress and level up your season pass and artifact. And
plus, it's a new activity and it's fun.
It's so much fun. I gotta say, this may be one of the best horde modes that they've had.
Yeah, and it's done something that I've been hoping that they've done for a while. Greenstego can attest, and that's using their patrol areas in new ways.
Yep. Yeah,
repurposing. Because those environments are so good, and just I'm so excited that they're finally, doing something more with those beautiful environments. Because I love it when they make new environments, but they have so much content in the game that's just so beautifully designed,
yeah,
that I'm glad that they're giving us more reasons to go there.
Right.
I also really liked that you travel through the progression, right? You start in one area and then you move to another area, and you kind of work your way through. It really feels like I feel like that movement helps me with feeling like I'm progressing to like that next part, rather than staying in one general area, which is nice.
Exactly. It feels like a little strike.
It does. Feels like a mini strike. That's really where they've like thrown so many enemies at you. It's fun. It's fun. We died a lot.
Yes. And I also want to say, regarding the seasonal activity, I was not expecting a new seasonal activity, because going into, like in the summer, they were saying, all right, we're going to get rid of FOMO. We're going to have the seasonal activity be a year-long activity. And so I thought that they were just like narrowing the scope of their seasonal activities.
Well, that's what they did with Wrathborn Hunts. I feel like that was a little bit narrowed down.
Right, that we would just still have these Wrathborn Hunts, which we can still go and do.
But I was just expecting Cabal Wrathborn Hunts this season.
Oh, I see. Just adding to that.
Oh, I see how you interpret
it. I was expecting Wrathborn Hunts to evolve.
No, they're staying around.
Wrathborn Hunts are still around, but they're basically leftovers. They're the leftovers in the fridge that are just getting a little old now.
But but not to new
Not for
incoming
new players that are coming in.
Right.
Right, so you don't have that FOMO. It's still there for someone who just picked up.
Right, or if you had a busy month at work and you just couldn't get,
right,
or whatever, you couldn't get to all the activities in that season, and then, it's going to be around for you to go back to if you need to or want to. I think that's great, and I think it's one of the benefits of the Destiny content vault that they've gone to, is they're able to keep these things around.
Expect the unexpected, Richard O'Neill says.
yeah.
I'm not sure.
I think is he referring to the Umbral engrams? Or I don't know, because I had asked
honestly,
what's the drop rate like for those things.
It's the very beginning. Like, we're just scratching the surface of this season, but it just feels good. It feels like
it's hitting some nice notes.
From a casual perspective, I mean, we do have we've got a winter break coming up, so I'm excited to like delve in and spend a lot of time in the Destiny universe during that break. But it just feels fun. I just really am enjoying it. It's grabbing me more than, like, the Wrathborn hunts were fun and the storyline was good, but didn't grab me as much as this. It just has that feel to it. I can't really put my finger on why I'm enjoying it more, but I am. So
I'm with you 100%
and what do you think of the helm?
The helm?
Helm.
Helm?
Helm. Helm.
It's like shield. That's one of those acronyms.
Or sword.
What does it helm stand for again?
Oh,
Destiny trivia.
Yeah. HELM.
What does helm stand for?
Hub for emergency logistical maneuvers, something like that.
Oh wow, I'm impressed.
Wow.
Even if it's not what it is,
that
it's
had
what
to
it
have been
should
all
be.
Bullshit. It'd be fine.
Now you need to look it up and see if I pull that
Well,
out.
what is our fact checker doing? Greenstego? Why don't we have the answer yet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Where's our fact
Stego.
checker? Fact checking. Okay.
Hub for emergency and logistical maneuvers.
That's what she said.
Okay,
That's
That's exactly what
It
she
was
said.
exactly right.
Oh
Yes,
my god.
I win.
You win the prize.
You won Destiny trivia this
I
the
week.
win Destiny
event-
trivia. What do
Richard
I
says
get?
it's-
Can I get a messenger out of that?
Richard says it's the Avengers Initiative. Nice.
I like it. It's interesting how it's not how it's not a social space. It feels like it should be a social space. It's big enough and it's got a lot of the things in a social space that a social space
it's
has.
weird. It's weird.
And someone else pointed out in something that we were listening to how it's first person instead of third person. Like, a lot of the social spaces are third person.
That's right.
But in this case, it's first person.
Yeah, it's different.
Right?
It's
You
different.
can't shoot your gun.
No, I
but
noticed
it's-
that.
But you're in
But
first person, so it's
Yeah.
It's different.
Similar to, I don't know, feels like the Warmind space.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's
That was just
I'm
a
just
little
wondering
hub for you to look at your quests.
I'm wondering
Yeah.
if there'll be more to it. That's kind of where I was
Oh, I don't think so.
going.
well, there's this
Like,
weird little staircase that goes down to a door that doesn't open. So
yeah, where
who knows?
Crow hangs out.
As a friend
That
of
Crow
mine
is
once
guarding
said,
with his life.
yeah, as a friend of mine once said, expect the unexpected, right? Oh, okay.
I think one of the things that I had heard, I don't want to take credit for it, but I definitely heard it from another podcast, I believe, is that the helm is going to be kind of like the hub for all new seasonal content, so that as the seasons change, you just go to the helm, and that's will be
That's
your hub for the
speculation.
seasonal stuff. It's speculation. Yeah, it's absolutely speculation. But
Well, we don't
Why are
deal
they
in
rebuilding
speculation
the
here
tower
on the
then, though?
podcast.
If we're gonna have this
What-
new helm space, like how you've all
Right.
have seen the construction in the old tower.
well, another person, another theory is that this helm actually, and maybe it's just because it seems like the helm of a ship, is that it potentially can break away, like actually can move, like is part of a ship that could.
What a wild
A ship?
speculation.
Yeah, kind of like the
Did she
drifters
just say a
thing.
ship?
Yes.
Yeah.
She wants the helm to pick up and take
You want
off.
the helm to tear off of the tower.
Like a
To
pod.
Well, like
And become
look,
a ship.
If the
An escape
if
pod.
the tower, no, like think of this through. If the tower is under attack and you have to move, could everybody
becomes
just
a
go
mech.
into this?
We control the tower to fight back
Yes,
like a
it turns
kaiju
into
fight.
like a giant Voltron. The tower, like a mega robot
it becomes
guardian.
a giant transformer.
Yes.
That's what
Okay,
those
now we're getting
controls
into
are
some
for over
wild
on the
theory.
side panel there. Wow, that would be
Yeah.
cool.
I mean,
Okay.
I mean,
Expect the
probably
unexpected.
not going to happen, but we are saying expect the unexpected.
I think
so it's
expect
going
the
along with
unexpected
our
are
theory.
the words of inspiration for this podcast to move forward, honestly.
We just lost half our
Okay, moving
viewers.
on.
Viewership has dropped in half, just like the Trials player pool. Okay, moving on.
generous.
I'm sorry. Okay. Moving right along here. Any other comments on the experience, the new experience? I think overall we all agree they're hitting the right notes with this season.
It just feels great. It feels so good.
Really
I know
does
it's-
feel good.
I know it's brand new and we're still like in the honeymoon phase of it, but it just feels great for me anyway.
Mhm.
It's always
If
a
they
good
did
sign.
nothing but that weekly checklist, I'd be happy.
Right.
The,
It's a
yeah, I
good.
think
rocket
the-
launcher buff is nice too.
the quality of life changes that they made are hitting it out of the park, especially for the casual player. From a casual player's perspective, it feels so much better to have like some guidance of what do I do next.
And we're all about the
But not
casual
feeling-
player's perspective here at the Paracasual Destiny podcast.
and not feeling like completely overwhelmed by it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we were thinking that this episode we would reverse the order of our
Shake things up a bit.
lore and sound thing. We've been trying to coordinate the lore and the Touch of Grimoire and our Destiny sound check segments so that they are more in sync and integrated somewhat. Have an integrated curriculum here. So we thought for this one, the sound check should go first so people have a little audio knowledge of the lore piece that Salliebug's going to initiate. So, this week's Destiny soundcheck is going to be about the Savathun's viral chant. Right? So let's call that up. Yeah. Oh, that's not good. A little technical issue here back at the podcast. Let's see, which one is it going to be? This one? There we go. Fixed it. All right.
Savathun didn't win this time.
No, she did not.
No, she didn't.
She's the Loki
Try
of
it, she
the
might.
Destiny universe, and she's a trickster. And we are going to listen to Savathun's chant, her viral chant. Arrogant Specialist was kind enough to thread together the 3 Destiny soundtrack versions of Savathun's viral chant. And a lot of people will recognize it as when they kicked up Shadowkeep on their at the intro there to load the game. And but there are 3 variants here of Savathun's chant. And the first one you'll hear is the familiar Shadowkeep version. And then there's a short, about a minute after that, we'll hear like a short 15 seconds of Storm the Keep, which is a variation on the theme. And then finally, we will close out with Hash Ladoon's, about 15 seconds or so of Hash Ladoon's Fall. So let's give it a listen. And now the Storm the Keep version. And into finally Hash Ladoon's Fall. Again, shout out to Arrogant Specialist for uploading, threading those 3 versions from the soundtrack of this viral chant melody line. A lot of people's favorite I'd like to play, and that is Lord Shax's interpretation of this, claiming he heard it from Eris Morn and putting words to it. So let's listen to Lord Shax.
I'm on the moon. It's made of cheese.
There's Lord Shax there singing the melody line, but with some lyrics. I'm on the moon. It's made of cheese. And curiously enough, I think it was... Gosh, when was it, Salliebug 2, the Drifter and Eris talking about Shax singing it? And Drifter asks Eris about it. And do you know when that was, that dialogue?
I
can't remember when. I really can't remember when that took place.
When that dialogue. I thought it was during one of the Contact events, but I don't think it was. I think it was another time that
was
they
it in
were
the
interacting.
Dungeon? Could it have been in the prophecy?
Oh, yes, it was. It was
in
one
the
of
prophecy.
the, like when you're like driving through all the sandy parts and you got to the lore.
Right.
That's exactly what it was. It was one of those from, the prophecy dungeon.
We're going to give that little exchange a listen between the Drifter and Eris. And Eris, interestingly enough, denies her giving Shax that bug. Here we go.
Hey, Three Eyes. Shax says you sang him a little ditty. What? Shax, Chunky Titan, One Horn. Did you sing him a song on the moon?
What a senseless question.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Stay off this channel. Should I need you, I'll call. Wait.
I didn't hang up.
Does that oaf still keep that skull with him?
In the tower? Yeah, hangs it over his spot. I wouldn't have tangled with that thing.
Desperate times. This little ditty. Did it go?
That would be the one. What is is it?
Savathun's song. It's a viral chant. It can never be unheard. Now that Savathun has announced herself, relics of the dark across the system have begun to awaken. Tell Shax to remove that skull immediately.
Sister, I already tried.
What did that oaf say?
No.
What did that oaf say? Okay, she does not like Shax for whatever reason. And finally, the most recent discovery with the release of Season of the Chosen is the crow whistling the viral chant. And here's Crow whistling the chant. And you can hear that for yourself, I think, in the space we were talking about, Helm. I think that's where he can be heard whistling that. That does it for this episode's sound check. Hopefully it provides the backdrop to our Touch of Grimoire with Salliebug 2. Salliebug?
So, right. So the Savathun song, and going down kind of that rabbit hole of where it occurs and when, and just doing some digging, I realized that basically since Forsaken and probably before, Savathun has been kind of orchestrating pretty much everything that's happening in our Destiny universe. She is orchestrating so much, from the whole Riven Dreaming City curse to our current situation with these battlegrounds and Keitel. It is all she has a hand in it. So I went into a ton of detail with you, Sooltime, talking about it. But basically, obviously, Savathun is looking to gain power and defeat the Guardians. She was very much opposed to us communing with the darkness, hence why, if you'll remember, before Beyond Light came out, her sending in Nokris to try to prevent us from having access to the darkness, because I think she saw that was potentially going to be her downfall, or at least get in her way. And the song itself is interesting in that, as you heard with Eris and Drifter communicating, Eris says this is a viral chant, and once you've heard it, it can't be unheard, and we can go. So Eris has heard it, obviously. Drifter has heard it. Saint 14 and Shax have heard it because Shax sang it to Saint 14. And now we know that Crow has been exposed to it, yet we don't know how. That is something. And then also us, potentially, we have heard it. And so has she virally infected the minds of those very important NPCs as well as us? But to kind of consolidate this, I wanted to talk a little bit about Keitel and how Savathun's role in Keitel being like why she is in our solar system at all. And there is a new lore book that has come out, and that lore book is called the Empress, I believe. And about halfway through, so it kind of just gives some Keitel's background. If those of you who don't know, Keitel is the daughter of Callus, and she is being, she is in the first few chapters of this book, it's just talking about her upbringing. She gets some history education through a scion that I can't remember the name of right off the top of my head. But she is also being educated in the ways of war with Moon. That's her nickname. I can't remember like the full name as well. I should know this, but I don't. Or I just don't want to try to attempt to. Moon Arath, I believe it is. So she is being educated in the ways of war from Moon, and then about halfway through, Moon gets she starts to get obsessed with the hive, and well, Stego, do you want to read chapter 5, New Gods?
Sure. Chapter 5, New Gods. It was Torun, one of Keitel's advisors, that alerted her to the spectacle. In the square, she said, her deep voice laced with concern. I've never seen anything like it. Keitel went immediately. In the central square of Torabottle's weaponsmith district, a bright green flame licked the air. Omunarath stood against the blaze, naked but for a waist wrap, in the custody of 2 guards. Her hide was carved with strange, crude symbols. When she saw Keitel arrive, she threw her head back and laughed. Here comes the Princess Imperial, she said, to kneel before our new god. I am Savathun, whispered. Keitel strode forward. Let her go, she told the guards. Reluctant, they did as she asked. What god, Omun? What heresies have you invented now? Omun grinned. The god of war, she said, and the earth trembled beneath them. But the god of war has planted her armies elsewhere. It is her sister, smiling, that has taken the ear of the war child Omunarath. Keitel stood before Omun in the flickering green light of the fire. Your obsession is a weakness, she said, and a threat to our prosperity. You can't stop it now, Omun broke, breathless with delight. Zebu Arad, hear me. Keitel didn't break her stare. I have no choice but to... Omun, chuckling, raised her hands. They glowed. The fire beneath her burned higher and shattered like rattling bones. The war is all there is, she said. As the chattering reached a fevered pitch, Keitel made a decision. With the lightning-quick reflexes Omun had taught her, she unsheathed the ceremonial sword at her side and ran it through Omun's middle. Omun laughed. You are war, and I conjure you with war and blood. She laughed and laughed and laughed until her mouth began to ooze, until Keitel, disgusted, pushed her off her sword with her foot. The body tumbled back into the green blaze. A gift from my favorite sister. As the fire consumed the corpse, a gargantuan portal opened in the sky.
So let's talk about what's going on here. Obviously, what we're hearing in the background is Savathun whispering. So Savathun has basically infected Amun. She has taken over her, and and this is not beyond Savathun's abilities. I was reminding Sooltime that that's basically what was happening in Crown of Sorrow, and that Callus had found that artifact, and we come to find out that that artifact was etched with those same strange markings. My guess would be that they are the similar, if not the same, to the markings that are inside that crown that had infected Galron, who we had to defeat because he was taking over part of Callus's ship, and Callus was not too pleased with that. So here we have Savathun again, kind of directing things in the background. So she found a way to get into Amun's head, and Amun gets more and more obsessed with the hive. And this is exactly what happened is what Savathun wanted to happen. She wanted to, because you hear, she says, Zivu Arath, hear me. And then she says, a gift for my sister, because if you remember, Zivu Arath is the god of war in the hive realm. And so she is orchestrating, she's trying to bring, because Zivu Arath is off doing her own thing, as she even says, but the god of war has planted her armies elsewhere. It is her sister Smiling that has taken the ear of the war child. She's basically saying, this is all me, but I'm doing this to kind of almost like summon Zivu Arath. And the portal opens, and so now we have Zivu Arath. And so Keitel, further on, if you keep reading in the book, Keitel leaves her, that they flee their home world and decide that they need to go to the solar system and try to join forces with the Guardians to try to defeat this new enemy, which is the Hive, and obviously Savathun. And that's why we're dealing with what we're dealing with, because she comes in, decides, but then her council, Keitel's council, says, you can't just bow. You can't just go to them and join forces with them. They killed Gaul, and she says, well, I will request a council with them, but I will ask them to bend a knee. And obviously we know what happens with that. Zavala says no, and here we are. But all of this being said, all of this is happening at the hand of Savathun. And yeah, she is definitely orchestrating everything that's happening in our world right
puppet
now.
Master.
She's the puppet master. And it was just like going through the background of like all the storylines. It's like, God, she's got her little fingers or little tentacles in basically everything that's happening and everything that's doing. The reason that Keitel and the Cabal are there is because she kind of pushed her to us through infecting her war advisor from her childhood. Like Amun was like almost like her second hand war advisor. Savathun found a way, and so she's scary. And that being said, and knowing what we know about the song itself, and knowing that it's potentially viral, and we know several people who have had this viral infection of a song infiltrated into their brains, and Crow being the latest one, it's interesting and scary, and not quite sure what's going to happen with it, but it'll be a fun ride no matter what.
Yeah,
obviously this is all leading up to the Witch Queen, and
I'm hyped.
They're doing such a good job of subtly filling that power vacuum created by the fall of Oryx, right? And it's just
right. I mean, this all just goes back to like the storyline from Destiny 1 when we killed Oryx, when we defeated Oryx, and it created this power vacuum, and he had his two sisters who are, I don't know if they're in it together or if they're going to battle it out. We don't know at this point. Like, I don't know if they're both it, because if we remember right, the Wrathborn hunts were Zivu Arath's doing, but is she doing it because she's being orchestrated by Savathun, or are they in are they in cahoots with each other?
Cahoots.
We're not quite
in
sure.
league.
Yep.
Wow.
But
The thing about the Hive, we don't really understand their relationships, but I want to say Oryx and his family, like Oryx and his daughters and Crota, like they repeatedly killed each other in their ascendant realms. So it could be that they express their care for each other by battling it out with each other.
well, part of that like sword logic thing, by killing each other, they grow stronger.
But Oryx was always just going to be the first one that we dealt with because they all represent something different. And Oryx was always, he was like the Voyager or something, right? Like the scout, basically.
Right.
I'm not sure.
And the Hive are
Our old
complex
Master.
too,
And
because of Shadowkeep.
let's keep in mind that Oryx and Savathun and Zivu Arath are all as powerful as they are because of the worm gods that they consumed way back in their origin story when they were on Fundament. So
They are definitely, the
back and-
Hive are definitely the most complex of the
go
races.
back and read the Book of Sorrows if you want that background. Great reading, or great listening if you can find someone who's put it to audio. But that is their origin story, and it's a very, so we've got, like, are they entities of themselves now, or are they, because are they still being driven by the worm gods?
Can they break free
that
of
gave
the
them
worm
power
gods?
in the first
Right.
place? Well, I think Oryx tried, and we know what happened with him.
Right,
So
yeah.
I'm thinking no.
Well, and then you had the was it the daughters or the sisters or the ones in Shadowkeep that were trying to?
Those were the daughters.
Yeah, they were trying to revolt against sword logic and create a whole new sect or a whole new.
And here we go again.
Yeah.
Savathun set them up.
She
to
set them
defeat
up, right? Yeah. Good stuff, Salliebug. Lots to engage
Did I miss
in.
it? Was there a relation between Zivu Arath and the history tutor that got taken by the Hive
Umun Arath.
with the last name Arath?
I don't think so. I think one is Cabal and one is Hive. So I don't.
So just lazy writing.
Lazy writers.
Both are
or-
rats.
I mean, nothing is usually. I mean, I would come on. I don't. I'm gonna say not lazy writers because it's
No,
not
I do not think that.
like Bungie.
I don't know what it
that,
means,
So
though.
is it? But yeah, Zivu Arath has the same last, like the second syllable of their names or the second part of their names is the same. Amun Arath and Zivu Arath. So yeah, that doesn't it doesn't go unnoticed, and we don't know why. Like, was Amun Arath supplanted, and like they knew all along that that's what was going to happen with her, and they just picked the right time to.
Why wouldn't they change her name if that was the case?
I don't know. I don't know.
Terrible spy strategy.
Terrible spy. Well, obviously nobody would suspected her, so. Oh, good stuff though. Very good stuff. Great writing.
Was Xivu Arath formerly Cabal?
That we know for a fact is no.
I know. But thank you for the confirmation.
But was a moon.
No, Amun Arath is a Cabal.
Right. She was a Cabal as well.
Classic Cabal. When Emperor Callus deposed the Praetoriate and declared himself emperor, he granted the Cabal legions the rights of citizenship and appointed Amun Arath, a combat veteran, as Evocate General. Primus of all legions, the supreme commander of the Cabal Empire's combined military forces. She was like the head general.
One interesting piece of lore, that little bit on the side note that came out in this book. I think it's called The Empress, but anyway, Keitel's backstory is that she released all the scions of their servitude. Like, they were free to either go and do as they will, and she was going to give them the resources to go off on their own, but that they could
like Khaleesi?
choose. Yeah, they could also choose to stay and fight at alongside the Cabal as Cabal. So I found that to be a very interesting piece of the
Did most of them stay to fight?
Well, yeah. I mean, have you done
Game of Thrones?
Yeah. Have you done any of those battlegrounds?
They're there.
There's scions all over the place throwing those purple bombs.
I thought the
throw me up in the air.
I didn't know those. I thought the battlegrounds were mostly Red Legion trying to prove themselves to her.
I mean, further down in, but there's definitely scions, especially in the
I
beginning
meant
parts
scions of the Red
battlegrounds.
Legion.
It's Keitel's testing ground, like our Crucible. It's their Crucible that we're infiltrating, right? That's my understanding.
Yeah, except that they have more higher stakes than our Crucible, it seems.
Right. Well, there is an honor amongst the Cabal, and so I think they would gladly hand things over to us if we prove ourselves. There's because, it's that quote from
Well, they
Keitel.
better. Why else are we doing this?
Well.
The loot.
Yeah, I think one thing we didn't discuss before in one of the updates was they finally got rid of that dialogue about the Red War from Soraya Hawthorne's line about the Red War.
Oh, she's not saying it anymore?
She's not saying it anymore.
That's funny.
End of an era. Yeah. I think that wraps it up for this episode. Does anybody have anything else or any other media that they're into that they like to share as of late? Salliebug and I are continuing our timeline of Marvel playlist. Where are we, Salliebug, on that? I think we've gotten through Iron Man 2, right? What's the latest one?
We watched the first Avengers movie.
Oh, the
I think
Avengers,
that was the
right.
last.
We got to the first Avengers.
We got through the first Avengers.
Right, so that's
which
where
is
we
fun.
are in the sort of the doing it in the timeline order.
That's where we are in the Avengers, and we started watching the latest season of The Crown. Quite good.
Oh, that's right. That's what we did last night.
Oh.
All
So,
right. Yeah, highly recommend it.
On the advice of a friend, and he said it's interesting to kind of find out like Diana's backstory here and kind of how she came to be princess.
Yeah, it's also a little more, I don't know, relevant to us because it's starting to get into our lifetimes of what we remember in the media and with Margaret Thatcher when we were kids. And so that's interesting for sure.
Right. The lore of the origin of the current state of the
and I feel like
House of Windsor.
2 weeks from now we'll be able to talk about some other video games too because we just got Game Pass. And so we're exploring the world of Game Pass, and that's going to be happening a lot. We have a winter break coming up, so we'll have
Be sure you
time.
download the Game Pass app on your Android device.
Right, because, I noticed that's one of the little challenges or whatever. They have the weekly quests.
And if you set it up, you can also download games remotely to your Xbox.
Nice.
Oh,
okay.
Yes, and it's
very convenient.
Browsing the games and searching for games is a lot better.
A lot easier.
Well, amen to that because it is a bit clunky on the Xbox.
Yeah, it's
interface.
clunky on the Xbox. So fun.
So looking forward to that.
I would recommend watching, if you're into cartoons, Kid Cosmic on Netflix.
Yes.
We watched that and we had a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Kid Cosmic?
Yes.
All right.
The newest cartoon by Craig McCracken of Powerpuff Girls fame.
Oh, okay.
Now making solid animation for Netflix.
Nice.
Netflix. And Netflix original.
Just a big fan of cartoons.
Check it out. All right.
And we're enjoying the newest Mario game that dropped yesterday.
Fresh off the shelves, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Interesting.
Too many things to check out.
Almost.
So many
It almost
things.
seems like that.
Way
Richard
too many
recommends
things.
Skyrim on the phone. What's he talking about?
Oh, with Game Pass, you have cloud
gaming.
access to some of your games.
Oh.
So you can, if you have a good enough cell phone, you can play it on your phone. And
I'm
I believe
assuming
the
Richard's
newer
tried it. I'll have to talk to him more
Xbox-
about that.
The newer Xbox controllers work with Android.
I have not played Skyrim in so long. I'm tempted to dive back into that game, and especially since it's been updated since the last time I played it. I have to check it out.
It's interesting because while we were sitting on the couch, just kind of like decompressing from work yesterday, I just wanted something playing in the background, and I picked somebody who had like done a Skyrim soundtrack interpretation and just had that playing in the background. Beautiful music.
Oh yeah, it's up there.
Really. So that's a thing as well.
Video game music is some of the best music out there.
Oh, so good. The compositions, those musicians are amazing. So.
And when I was playing,
we've got a lot to consume both in the Destiny
Right.
world and outside of the Destiny world. Not enough time.
and I'll be honest with you. When I played the Savathun theme earlier, listening to the original soundtrack with headphones, holy cow! There's a lot more going on than you hear through the TV just booting
Yeah,
up
I
the
was
game.
thinking the same thing.
Yeah, there's some like
Sounds so
the
good.
string arrangement in the background.
And speaking
Wow.
speaking of viral chant, that is definitely going through my head right now. So it's definitely
All right.
a viral chant.
So it's always a good sign when you feel compelled to end the podcast early so that you can go play some Destiny. That's always a good sign for the game in my book. It's good litmus, right?
I'd hardly say early though. We've been chatting for an hour and a half now.
We got into it and we got through our special segments, our Destiny soundcheck and Grimoire. But let's wrap it up and say goodbye to the good people, and hopefully we will see you in the Destiny universe one way or another, or the Twitterverse or whatever. That is a wrap. You've been listening to episode 26 of the Paracasual Destiny podcast, live from San Francisco. And tune in, you can tune in 2 weeks from today for episode 27. We're looking forward to seeing you then. Bye, everyone.
On the 27th.
Yeah. We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.